Say hello. Can you?
Hello.
Okay, so we're good.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Born to Shine, being brought to you by Genius Kids. I'm Miss Renu, and of course, this is the favorite time of the week because this is the time where I spotlight all this young talent that we have. And yes, you don't need to go to Bollywood, trust me. We have all the talent right here for you, right here in the Bay Area. So, first of all, a special thanks to Radio Zindagi, to Neeraj, to Seba, always giving me a platform to be able to bring such talent. And then, of course, my favorite RJ over there, Miss Ira, that comes to the studio just for my shows. Thank you, Miss Ira. Good evening to you.
Good evening, Miss Renu. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. And today's show I've been really looking forward to because I just
Yes.
love music, as we all know. And we're going to be presenting some amazing talent today. So without any further ado, I want to introduce our spotlight on Saarth Raanka. Hi, Saarth. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good. Now take your mic away for a few minutes, away from you, because we're just going
Just
to
while
talk.
we chat.
Yeah, while we chat. So we don't need that. We'll only need that for music. So tell us, everybody, how old are you?
I am 8 years old and I'm in third grade.
Dad, can we turn the mic off maybe? Just turn the mic off, Sarth, on your microphone, because there's an echo when you talk.
Yes.
Just go ahead and turn it off. Perfect. I think it's
Thank
off
you.
now. All right. So you're 8 years old? Oh, now he's off now.
No, we can't hear him at all.
We can't hear
If,
him at all. Okay. So Dad, do you have the computer close by where we can have him speak? You're
And
on
that's
mute.
Sure, I'll do that.
Yeah,
Thank
Dad
you.
will fix it in a few minutes. So
Meanwhile, Miss Renu, why don't you tell us what you know about Saarth and how you came in contact with him?
okay, so as Dad fixes a quick technical thing that we have there, Saarth has been highly recommended by his dad and many other friends as well.
Mhm.
He is super talented at playing tabla. In addition to that, by the way, Ira, it's a very talented family because we're going to have Saarth this week and we're going to have Big Didi next week as well. Sister's coming on next week who sings. Yeah, look at the big
Okay.
smile on his face. Yes. So they love music, and in addition to that, Saarth loves to do programming. So that's what I'm really excited about, to listen to his music, and who knows what else this young boy has hidden
So
behind
how
him.
did you come to know about Saarth? Or how have you known him also as one of your genius kids?
No, he's not a genius kid, but he's definitely a genius
A
kid.
genius kid.
But he
High
was
five.
referred by one of his family friends, and then I hooked up with the dad who sent me his details. So are we all set, Saarth? Are you ready? Oh, not yet? Okay.
Can you hear us? Okay?
Yeah, I can hear you. Just come a little closer,
Thank
Saarth, to the computer. Come a little closer.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, a little. Speak a little louder.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, but you sound
can
very
manage.
faint. Yeah, but we'll manage with
Distance.
this. Don't worry, we'll manage. Yeah.
Meanwhile,
Okay.
listeners, let us tell you that this show is called Born to Shine, which means this show is for all the kids
Hello?
who are born to shine.
Perfect.
So if
That sounds
you
great.
know a child who's born to shine, who has some extraordinary talent, who's really talented in any field, you can just send a brief write-up to Miss Renu and she'll take it from there. Her email address is rennud@gmail.com. Miss Renu.
Yes. So, Saarth, glad to have you back. So, tell me something. Your dad said you were inspired by your sister, who you call Choti Ma, to get into music. So, tell
Yeah.
me, how did that happen?
So, like you said, my sister sings and she basically, so I've always wanted to do something musical, but then I didn't want to sing because I just thought I didn't want to use my voice. So then I decided I would play an instrument. But then all of the instruments I found, they either weren't good for me or they were like too common. So then my dad found about tabla, he enrolled me, and yeah, now I do tabla.
So, what other instruments did you try before you figured out you wanted to play tabla?
I didn't really try any instruments. I did piano with my sister, and I just thought I wasn't fit for that. And I've also seen other people do other instruments, and at school I've also tried their instruments, and I just didn't feel anything was fit for me. And then my dad found about tabla. And then
So, let me ask you, does anyone at home play the tabla? Like dad, mom, grandpa, anybody else?
No, nobody in my entire family plays tabla or like does anything like musical except my sister.
I
Oh.
have a question, Sarth. So when you actually tried so many instruments and when you thought, okay, this isn't working for me, that isn't working for me, did at any point of time, did you feel that music is not for you and you should probably try something else? Or did you just want to keep trying some other instrument till you found the right one?
I just I didn't find the right one, but I kept on looking through the instruments, and
Hmm.
then my dad found the right one for me,
He
just
did.
like
Okay.
out of nowhere, and it just
It
so
just appeared out
I
of
thought that
nowhere.
was perfect because it was also a unique instrument.
Yeah.
So then it worked out for me too.
And
That's
I would love
amazing.
you to tell us, who is your teacher?
My teacher is Satish Taraji, and his class is called Tabla Niketan.
Wonderful. So you've been learning since the age of 6, right?
Yes.
Okay. Is your dad around? Sunil, you want
Um,
to come on? Is dad around?
yes.
Okay. So I want to ask dad a few questions in a few minutes.
Okay.
Here
Okay.
we are.
So, oh, look at him. He's going to be our little manager over here. So Sunil, it's wonderful. Thank you for setting that whole arrangement for us. So when did you figure out that this little boy you have is super talented?
I mean, it was pretty early on. He and his sister Samvi, they were 6 years apart, and my wife early on spotted Samvi that she's good at singing, so we put her into the through the whole grill of classical music. And at a very early on, we could figure out that he's able to pick up the lay and the tal, and he's able to cope up with that conversation. So actually, he's got a very good singing voice. So we had a recommendation that he should be singing as well, but he decided that he doesn't want to do that. So early on, we could figure that out. He used to started singing the complicated compositions, and then when we put him on through the piano or keyboard, right, he was started playing in. And hence I've been in the DJ business for a while, so I always wanted somebody to follow the classical part of the world. So
Oh, okay. So you've been doing DJ. You're a DJ?
I ran a DJ business in the Bay Area, yeah, in the past.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. That's so nice. So definitely music is in the family for sure. So Sarth, let me ask you a question. How do you I mean, do you practice every day? Because I know tabla is an instrument that needs a lot of practice. So how often do you go for your lessons?
So I go for my lessons every Saturday. I mean Sunday.
Okay.
And then I also have private classes on Wednesday. And I think those private classes really help me improve like a lot better and a lot faster.
So you were going for like group classes and then you started taking private classes as well.
Yeah.
Okay. And I watch people playing tabla. I tried it a long time ago and I couldn't figure it out. I can't coordinate both my hands. My question to you is that did you find it a little challenging in the beginning, or did you just have a knack and just pick it up?
So in the beginning, I was a bit scared because I just sat there in the class, and then all the other students there, they were just moving their fingers around the tabla, and then it's like with no effort at all, basically. And
So
then I thought I couldn't do it, but
so
then
for a
now
moment you
I
thought
can.
you couldn't do it. Okay. So what
Yeah.
what do you think gave you that inspiration to continue? Did you ever come home and tell mom and dad, I can't do this, I quit, I don't want to do this?
Well, I never said I quit. I said it's not right for me. But then the next day I get the hang of it, and then I start to like it. And then it gets really soothing. And then I just couldn't stop. So then from then I did tabla.
So how do you balance this with schoolwork? I mean, no, I know we're during COVID time now, you've been, at home and you can balance your work and everything. But what about before COVID, when you were going to school and you had to come home and do practice? How do you balance both?
So it was pretty easy because I came home from school. Like right now it's just 4 hours of school, but at school it used to be 6. And then I would come home, I would finish my homework. I mean, technically I didn't have any homework. And then after the year, and then I got homework in second grade. But then I just came home, finished my homework, and it was like not too much homework. And I finished half of it at school, so I didn't really have to do anything at home. And then so I came home, and I usually just like ate a snack or something, and then I did
Fuel
tabla.
yourself up with some energy. Okay.
Yeah, and then I did some tabla, and then I got my entertainment.
And then you got your entertainment. That sounds really good. I feel like I'm talking to a very well-known musician who's given me his whole schedule.
But you see, Miss
Yeah.
Renu, throughout his journey, you do figure out that he did not find the tabla found him.
I think so. I think the
Right?
tabla did find him. So on that note, since we figured out that the tabla found you, let's go ahead and have a little demonstration of what you know. Go ahead and
Yes,
let's have a
totally
little
excited.
musical performance. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So let's mute ourselves, and I'm going to put him on full screen.
Yes, let's do that. Spotlight him completely.
Right? Miss Renu, you're on mute.
Oh, wonderful job. Amazing.
Yes.
Amazing. That's so good. So, wow, I wouldn't even know. I was watching your hands, and like I said, I can't even coordinate both hands together, let alone.
Yeah, that's what I thought at the beginning, because I had to look at two things at once and then coordinate both of my hands, like the
That is really
piano.
cool. That is really cool. So let me ask you something. Do you think that people are born with the genes inside them from within the family to be talented, or do you think you can come from a family that has no music? I mean, your dad is, is a DJ, your sister sings. What if they were not in music at all? Do you think you would have still had an interest to discover this?
I mean, I don't know, because because my sister, she does music too, right?
Right.
So I don't think, like, I think if nobody did music at all, I wouldn't have been doing tabla right now, and I don't think I would be playing in any instrument.
So where do you want to go with tabla? I mean, if you could, push forward time, put the time clock forward 20 years or 15 years from now, where do you see yourself with the tabla?
I don't know.
You want to do this professionally someday?
Yes, that's one
Yes?
thing for sure.
Okay.
Do tabla professionally one day, but 50 years from now, I don't know whether I'd be doing a different job or I would be doing tabla full time. I just don't see myself.
I don't blame you for not being able to answer that question, because when I was
We
8
don't know
years
what to
old,
do with things. So yeah, that's okay. You're allowed.
At age 60, I can't figure out where I'm going to be next year, and you're talking about 50 years old. So your dad told me as well that you're super talented as a programmer. So let's talk about that. What do you do with that?
In programming, I just make games for fun. Like, I've made a few games on Scratch. I'm working on this game on Python where it's like a Tesla, and then you can add like stops everywhere, any color, anything, and you don't have to add any code. and it just stops right there, and it's going to be also voice controlled. So that's another thing I'm excited about.
That's
I don't know how I'm
great.
going to do the voice controlling. It's a bit tough. Yeah, but I'll do
I'm
it.
sure you'll figure it out. You figured so
Yeah,
many things out already.
don't ask Miss Ira and me because we won't have answers for that one. But you can probably ask your dad. I'm sure he'll be able to help you.
Yeah.
So going back to school, what school do you attend?
What?
What school do you go to? I mean, when school's in session, what school do you go to?
I go to Garden Gate.
Okay, is that in San Jose?
No, in Cupertino.
In Cupertino, okay. And what's during the COVID? I mean, have you enjoyed virtual learning from home, or are you anxious to get back into school itself?
It means less school.
What means less school?
We get
COVID
2
times.
hours. We used to have 6 hours school, but now we have 4.
So what do you prefer? Staying home and doing it virtually?
This. Minus the homework, because then we get too much homework.
So you want to go back to school, but you don't want the homework, or do you want to stay home and no homework?
I don't know. We get more homework, which then takes more time at home. So I think I would rather go back.
You'd like to go back to school.
So Saarth, what all do you do apart from going to schools, apart from doing school, studying, playing tabla in your free time? What else do you like to do? And of course, not programming. What other interests do you have?
Basketball.
Basketball.
Okay,
Interesting.
Good.
We have a basketball hoop in our backyard, and I was playing at my friend's house, and then I told my dad I wanted a hoop. So then he ordered a hoop, and it didn't come after 5 weeks. It was supposed to come like 5 days after, but then it got delayed 4 weeks. So then
Dad's fault. So Sunil, I have a question for you before your son starts telling us about his deliveries not coming on time. So where do you see Saarth with his music? I mean, what are your plans for him? I mean, he said he wants to play professionally, but what do you see as an advantage of learning tabla or learning music for all the parents out there who feel they would like to get their kids involved, but feel it might be a distraction to studies?
Yeah, I think, in my opinion, especially being in Bay Area, we are so blessed to have fantastic gurus around us, and we are really blessed. My learning, I've spent last 8 years doing this along with my kids, not personally doing it, but having them perform. Like 3 distinct things: level of confidence, level of uniqueness, what they bring on. And the most important thing is when if you and you are in the world of educating kids, right? So you have left brain and right brain, and then whole concept of creative part of the brain versus the actual functional part of the brain, and the hand and movement coordination teaches you to the next level. And more importantly, if you look at Indian classical music, there is no lipi, which means there is no notes. You memorize everything and you play with it. So you're constantly challenging your brain and memory to do different things. And think of, if you take tabla, right, it's like less than 8 inch of diameter, and every inch makes a different sound all along, and that's the kind of a creativity you go through. So be it singing, be it tabla, it's a fantastic instrument to give, and the more importantly, you connect back to the culture. That's a cultural and the music and the brain part of it. Regarding Saarth, he's pretty independent, actually. I mean, so far, what he has done, he picked a choice, actually. The only thing I influenced was tabla, because I really loved it, and I thought this will be people told me it's very complicated, but I was very confident that he should be able to pick it up. But in long term, I believe he will be able to make his own decision, and I don't think so he would need any of his help. And he's pretty early on, very decisive about what he wants to do. So even
I can see
today,
that.
yeah, and even today, right, when he's playing this particular piece, right, he had a class with his Guruji, and he just said, "Guruji, I was distracted today because I was practicing for this, and this is what I was trying to do." So he's pretty vocal, pretty confident about few things, and he's pretty sincere about what he wants to achieve. So I think I'll leave it up to him, what he wants to do.
Absolutely. And I'm so glad you brought the left and right brain, because I'm huge on that. Many times parents will tend to, and schools will tend to only focus on one side of the brain. So when you're able to balance both, and you talk about coordination, about memory, focus, and confidence. And this is fabulous that he's just sitting here and answering my questions so casually, I just absolutely love it. So Saarth, what are you going to wrap up the show with today? Because normally when I see tabla players, especially in the movies, they're always saying words and stuff, and they're doing stuff. Do you do that with your teacher? I mean, I don't even want to try it, but do you do that when they do tals and stuff? Do you do that?
We do tals when we're learning either new compositions, and we just do it on the hand, so then we get the feeling, and then we play it on the tabla, which then so the hand just helps you get the rhythm, and like how many beats per
So give me a sample. Like, let's say if you were teaching me, what would you say? How would you do that?
If I were teaching you, I would basically give you phrase by phrase of like the thing we were learning.
Okay.
And then I would see if you knew all of them or if you needed help on a few of them. So then we would practice the phrases. And then the next week we would actually play them. And then we'd play them with the lera, which is the tune, which accompanies the tabla. And then from then we would all add all of them together, which then forms one whole part of the composition. And then from that point on, you would put in the variations.
Wonderful. So what are you going to play for us now as we wrap up?
I would like to play this style that's really hard, and it's 8.5 beats. It's styles are usually a whole number. But this one is 8.5. There's a 7.5 one and 9.5. But I'm gonna do 8.5.
Okay, go for it. Ira, you and I just looking at each other like, wish we could do
What is it talking about? 8.5 beats? Okay, if you
phenomenal.
say so.
Okay. That's beautiful. Wonderful job. Wonderful. So let me ask you a question, sir. We have 2 more minutes. So do you want to give a shout out to anyone special? Any of your friends on listening?
I would like to give a shout out to my teacher and also my dad, because I give lots of credit to my dad because he's the one who enrolled me, and if he hadn't enrolled me into tabla, then I wouldn't be here right now. And second, to my Guruji, and lots of credit to him because he has taught me everything, and he has just made me learn a lot. And his name is Satish Taraji, and also Tabla Nikitin, the class.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, it's been a real pleasure having you on the show. Let me tell you, this is beautiful, and I wish you luck. And don't forget me, because one day, well, you said 50 years. I won't be around in 50 years, but at least in 15 years, in 15 years, I'll see you on a stage someday, and I'm going to scream from the audience, "Hey, remember Miss Rainu on Born to Shine?" But you and Miss Ira. Let's not forget Miss Ira, of course.
Hello, why would I be there? I will be there too. Why would you miss me?
No, you'll be there in 50 years. I won't. But Sunil, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for letting us know about this amazing talent you have. And I'm looking forward to seeing Choti Ma next week, right? On my show. I'm gonna listen to your sister next week.
Yeah, so thank you, Renuji. Really appreciate it. I mean, there is no reason for you to do this, or in this tough times. But you doing this, encouraging the kids, it's a building a new culture in society and encouragement for this set of new generation. So really,
no, thank you. And I thank parents like yourself that can focus on other things other than just the academics and really raise a well-balanced child over here. And a child, I mean, he's going to be phenomenal, even his confidence and his engagement, and he has a wonderful sense of humor. And next time, I hope all your deliveries come on time as well, sir.
I think I can blame Walmart for that.
Oh, yes.
Oops. Okay. Well, thank you, Sunil, for arranging this, for coordinating this, and thank you, Saarth, for teaching us so much about tabla, and thank you, Miss Rainu, for putting this together. And again, listeners, this show is called Born to Shine. If you know any kid who's born to shine, just send them over here. Write to Miss Rainu on rennud@gmail.com. We'll see you again next week.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.